morning, my friends. Welcome to the live stream. This is another informal session of the live stream. If you were joining us late last night, I had to wait till 9 p.m. until I could start watching the 2020 interview with the president from the people, and it did not go well. So I don't think the interview went very well. Trump seems very pleased with it. He tweeted this morning, "Thank you for all the glowing reviews," which was, I don't know. I don't know what world he lives in. But I'm sure on the Fox and or Friends this morning they were praising him for it. Here's the thing: we were on the air last night, you and me, and isn't there a song, "A Dog Named Boo"? Me and you and a dog named Boo. Is that just in my head, or is that from like an Archie comic, or me and you and a dog named? I think there is. Good morning, everybody. We didn't finish last night, so I thought we would finish up this morning. My plan is to take all these fact checks that I'm doing on it right now, put something together very succinct, and cut this up so that it's less than 14 and a half hours, put it up on the YouTubes, and just be able to show people, which is why you put things on the YouTube, be able to show people who may be undecided or may say, yeah, but I mean, you know, the president said so. I mean, he's being honest and forthright. He tells it like it is. Let me show you just last night. Probably 40 fact checks. We haven't done it yet. How am I awake? It's like 10 o'clock here. I've been awake since about 7. I got regenerated. And I have my yogurt and bran, so I'm good to go. So I'll be eating as we do this. Song is by Lobo. It's a song. It's I want to say, though, for some reason I associate it with Archie. So there might have been an Archie comic or an Archie cartoon at some point that featured it. That is what I remember from my childhood. And that's it. That's the only thing I remember. Looking forward to Santa this year. Let's get right into it.
Philadelphia.
Oh, I should tell people, if you're watching for the first time and you want to be in the chat room, you can do so via YouTube or Twitter or Twitch. We're broadcasting on multiple platforms here. This is something we call the live stream. We chat truth to power, basically. We have some fact checkers over in the chat right now, some real fact checkers. I try and do some fact checking of the president as well as we go through this. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. You don't have to chat. You're welcome just to watch. If you're watching this in replay, you should get a hobby. You will get good information out of this, and what the feedback we get most is that people are happy to have someone to share, myself and the chatters, the Kevinly family as they call themselves, to get through this, because we all need a little help to tolerate this president who has absolutely no grasp on the truth whatsoever. Let's get going.
Here again.
Oh, sorry. The best place to chat, YouTube.com/KevinlyFather. The best place to support me, KevinlyFather.com. Or you can send me some money, Venmo or PayPal. We'll talk about that later. We won't.
George Stephanopoulos.
Welcome back to our town meeting with President Trump. We're taking questions from Pennsylvania voters who have not made up their minds this election. The next one comes from Flor Crusetta. She's from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. She has not voted before because she just became a citizen.
Oh, very good.
Thank you so much. Hi, Mr. President, Mr. George. Hi, everyone. My name is Flor Crusetta. Sorry if I can't hold my tears.
I love what you just did.
I came in 2006 with my mom from Dominican Republic. Sorry.
So she's apologizing because she's crying, and Trump, before she even gets to the end of the sentence, likes what she just did, took her mask off. Trump likes that. We are live, Ruth Ann. You are always live. If you're asking that question, you're live. That's how that works.
That's all right. And just take your time. That's fine. George has plenty of time, I hope, right?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Did you say your mom got COVID?
We come from Dominican Republic.
What?
2006 to live.
What? Hold on.
Our American dream.
Did I miss something? What? She just became a citizen. She didn't mention COVID, did she? I'm sorry. I want to make sure. Has anyone else watched this already? Is there something here that I'm not? Why is he asking her about her mom getting COVID? I'm going to give him the benefit of the gout here.
Sorry.
I've got to go back to when she's
Trump
introduced.
We're taking questions from Pennsylvania voters who have not made up their minds this election. The next one comes from Flor Crusetta. She's from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. She has not voted before because she just became a citizen.
Oh, very good.
Thank you so much. Hi, Mr. President, Mr. George. Hi, everyone. My name is Flor Crusetta. Sorry if I can't hold my tears.
I love what you just did.
I came in 2006 with my mom from Dominican Republic. Sorry.
That's all right. And just take your time. That's fine. George has plenty of time, I hope, right?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Did you say your mom got COVID?
We come from Dominican Republic.
Yeah, there's no. She mentions her mom, but she doesn't say anything about COVID. Does Trump just assume because she's brown that she's got COVID? What just happened there? What happened in his head? Is that it's just the brown person's crying? It must be the COVID. Well, it'll be fine. I mean, at some point, in terms of brown people, we'll be less than zero. Thank you, Ruth Ann. We had a good time last night. Let's see if we can get through this.
2006 to live our American dream. But she forgot how to take care of herself. And she died last month. Sorry.
Terrible, and that's okay. It's okay.
Did they get this information beforehand? Did she? We still don't know. It still hasn't been established that her mother passed away from COVID. She said she forgot how to take care of herself. Her mother, the speaker said that. Did they clip something? Has anyone seen anything on this? Is this not?
She have breast cancer, but it may.
Okay, now we know. Thank you, Stephanie. Her mother died of cancer. Why? But why did he say COVID? What?
Metastasis on her brain, bone, and lungs. And she passed on the 19th. One of her biggest dreams was to become a citizen to vote, and she did. She did 10 days before she died. And I did it too. She pushed me so hard to do it, and I did it this past 28. I'm here because of her. She was supposed to be here and ask you and thank you for the stage you take during this epidemic. You made people closer. We lost our job, but we learned how to love our family. So I'm saying that from her.
Very nice.
Her question for you was, because she wrote this question, what would you do for our immigration system? What would you change to make more people like me and like her to become citizen and vote?
So we are doing something with immigration that I think is going to be very strong, because we want people to come into our country, people like you and like your mother. And that just shows how vicious the COVID is, especially when you have another problem. You have a heart problem or another type of a problem. And it's a very sad story. But we want people to come into our country.
We want people like you to come into our country, and that just shows how vicious the COVID is. What? It was cancer, right? Am I missing something? Ruth Ann, mom died of cancer 20 days after becoming a citizen. Right, that's what she said. Is there something here? Have people been on the news? Did the mom have COVID? Why is he talking about COVID?
We want them to come in, a lot of people, but we want them to come in through a legal system, through a system that they love our country, they work to come into our country.
Again, the question was, how can we do this for more people, not COVID? And legal? Yeah. Oh, yeah. How do more people come in legally and vote? That was the question.
A merit system, and we're working on something very hard right now, and in a very short time we're going to be announcing it, and I think it's going to have quite an impact. I think it's going to be something that actually will be popular for all. I mean, as far as your situation with your mother, that is just...
Oh, he's going to be announcing it in a very short period of time. Okay. Okay. All right. If you're just joining us, this is going to be a slower than usual show because I'm so drunk right now. Also, I'm taking notes and stuff like that so I can do stuff with this later. So this is just sort of me letting you in onto the process and you helping me with the process. So thank you. Everything is in a short period of time. And I'm really retroactively looking forward to the healthcare that he's going to talk about by the end of August. I did see earlier, Mark Meadows announced that, yes, he does have a healthcare plan, and it will be a combination of executive orders and some legislation. What did she say? Hold on. I'm going to get the exact quote here, because it's... I checked through the Constitution under Article 75, and it all checks out. Here we go. Let me find it here for you. Okay. Executive actions with legislative components. That's what the new healthcare plan is going to be. So I've heard it's going to be very impressive. And I'm already impressed with the phrase executive actions with legislative components. That to me is very impressive.
It's devastating because I can imagine how you feel. And
can you,
sounds
though?
like a great woman, and I'll tell you, I'm pretty good with people. She gave us a great daughter, a great child. What she's done with you, the way you are, the love that you have for your mother, I can see that. It's hard. And so many people, and they die alone. They die alone because this is such a vicious thing. You can't go there and hold.
She had cancer. Who said she died alone? Who said that? Nobody. Hold on. I want to show you how good he is with people. Let's see if it pulls up if I do it this way. I don't know. This is, again, I apologize. Well, you know what? I'm not apologizing. Fuck you all. I don't mean that literally. Unless you're cute. David, I'm looking at you. Is David even in the room? Good morning.
You sound like me.
What's that?
Fuck you all.
Fuck you all. It's Kevin Lee daughter. She wanted me to pass along to you folks. Fuck you all. You could probably hear that. Hold on. Give me a moment because I want to pull this up. I want to show you guys how good Trump is with people. I can find it fairly quickly. And again, if it's not quick enough for you, fuck you all. Okay, there it is. There's how good Trump is with people. This is right after the Parkland shooting, and he had the kids, the families in. Hey, sorry that so many of you were massacred by a bad guy, and the police didn't come in and help. But I hear you. Number one, what would you most want me to know about your experience? Number two, what can we do to help you feel something? Peace? I'm guessing. Number five, I hear you. He's so good with people. Especially when he has crib notes. So good with the people. Kaylee's happening right now. Hold on. Let me check out the C-SPANs because we'll cut away from this. I want to finish this at some point. Let me cut away from... Hey, how much should a ream of paper cost? It's like $10. Is a ream of paper really $10 now? I hate to buy paper. I only buy recycled. Unless the regular paper is cheaper, and then I'll buy it. No. Recycled paper, like $10 a ream. It just seems like it's way too much for me. Isn't that right, Grandma? It's my wife, Grandma. We call each other Grandma and Grandpa because we're 105. Paper should be a nickel. What the hell am I looking up? We're going to get through this quickly. Oh, We got to go to this Caspan. Hold on, caspan.org. All right, that's thinking. Let's get back to this. I can't. Yeah, we are getting death circles. Okay, we're back. I think. The Wi-Fi's were not happy, so I hardwired us right now. Things, I'm moving. I'm changing. Things are happening. Anyway. How much can a banana cost, Michael? $10? It's true, Marcy. That's exactly right. That is Trump's connection to the people. Don't forget your grocery ID, Michael. C-SPAN has... Yeah, she's doing it live. Hold on. Are we cutting away here? Will this become a regular live stream where we're going to do the KK macaroni and come back to the president? I have stuff to do today. I've got 2 auditions to do. And like I said, I have to move things. Come on. Show it to me, C-SPAN. Okay, is the entire world slow today? Come on. I'm going to pull up and see if she's actually... a team of 20-pound paper is like $3 in New Jersey. Well, I would like a whole team of it. Is it worth flying to New Jersey, and is it safe to fly to New Jersey at this point? No, Babe, you can still say bring your ID. That's fine. I know in Canada you guys have like a national ID, and each one of your provinces gets a special emblem on the ID with your parish on it as well. No, we're good. No death circles right now. We're getting better. We got a green light. I know, it's a ream. I got it. Okay, so C-SPAN's not working for me. Hold on. Let's try... we'll try it over on the other... Whatever I'm trying to say. Hold on. Caspan. And it might... Actually, let's just go to YouTube, because if they're live, it will likely be on the television networks. Fox will cover it. Okay, and... Are we seeing it? Wow, why is this so slow? Oh, now we've got Death Circle. Oh, boy. Man, the internet's all over the place right now. It's jumping all over the place. Why am I paying for internet? Why? Why am I paying them for internet? Okay, are we back? I have a little light on the side that goes green, yellow, red for me.
The Biden staffer sidestepped a question about whether he uses a teleprompter during...
Okay, so are we back? Let's go to live here. They've got the press briefing in the corner, so what's this about?
Fair to Vice President Biden. I mean, he's done a lot of media interviews just in the last 2 weeks with local media. He's done over 24 of them, none with teleprompters. He did a full sit down on CNN, no teleprompter. So, I mean, we can cherry pick who's using and who's not using. The President of the United States uses them as well during his rallies, and we don't seem to dissect that in the exact same.
Okay, I think we're back. Are we? Is everybody good? I'm going to move forward. So everyone's trying to see Kaylee's going to spin this ambush crap. Yeah, no, she was already on Fox this morning saying, and she's got answers for everything, of course. None of it makes any sense. But that's the herd immunity, isn't it? Okay, let's go back to Trump for now, if it'll play for us.
Their hand, you can't give them a kiss goodnight. It's a terrible, terrible thing. And hopefully the vaccines are going to be very soon. Hopefully. Did you have COVID? You didn't have it, right?
No.
You didn't have it, your mother.
No, her mother didn't have it.
Taken care of. It's going to get taken care of. The vaccines are going to make a big difference. What has made a big difference is remdesivir. We have many things now, and things are going to be announced, which frankly, if you take a look at some of the things we're doing in terms of, the word wouldn't be cure, but the word would be therapeutically or therapeutics. We have some incredible things happening, which is so important. And I view that actually in a certain way as more important than the vaccine, where you can go into a hospital and get your mother and give her a transfusion or a shot, and they can...
Her mother's dead.
Get better much faster. So we have some of those things, and they've been very, very...
A transfusion isn't going to help her with the cancer, but okay.
Successful, but we have others coming out. And in order to get them, we had to get the FDA to approve this product, these, very sophisticated medicines, and I guess you could call them a medicine, but we had to get them approved very quickly, and they did it.
You can call medicines medicines. That is correct. Good for you, Trump. Is that one? Do we have one? Hold on, we got a running tally over here. Yeah, that is one correct thing he said so far. So...
Dr. Hahn, the head of the FDA, Alex Azar, they've really done a fantastic job. I believe, George, that none of this would have happened in another administration. The FDA is doing things at a level that they've never done, and at speed with which they've never acted before.
The question is it being done safely? We've got to take another break.
We're going to make sure it is, yes.
Oh, another break. Good, because he nailed that section.
Final question. It comes from Ashley West of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania.
Oh, final question already? Yep. Okay, internet's back. Welcome back, everybody. Morning, Rodney. Rodney was with us last night. I think most of the way through. We didn't finish last night, Rodney, so we're just finishing up this morning, and then we're going to take a look at KK Macaroni at doing her presser. Rodney, you retired now? Do you get to hang out all day? Or are you I'm guessing you're retired at this point still, or are you out there working somehow? I can't imagine you not working, Rodney. Give me a second here. I'm pulling up C-SPAN on the other screen. And okay, there we go. Here we go.
Hi, Mr. Trump.
Hi, Ashley.
Todd, you are always need. I mean, 100% need.
Sorry. My question is, what has been the most difficult part of your presidency, and what have you learned?
Sorry, folks. I want to hear what type of voter she was before we get going on here. Go ahead.
Welcome back to our town meeting. We have time for one final question. It comes from Ashley West of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania.
Hi, Mr. Trump.
Hi, Ashley.
Sorry. My question is, what has been the most difficult part of your presidency, and what have you learned from it?
So I think...
What's he going to say? Fake news? The attack? The persecution? And it should never happen to another president?
Without question, I would say, because things were going so well, I think I'd have to say the whole COVID, the China virus, as I call it, because it comes from China. I think it's a much more accurate term.
And it's also been the best thing for his presidency, actually.
But it's been very difficult. It's been so sad. As an example, talking to you about your mother, it's...
Jesus fuck! Even after the commercial break, he still thinks her mom had COVID. She didn't have COVID. George, someone in the audience, lady with the mother, God bless you. And I literally was tearing up watching her. The man has no humanity whatsoever. You come back from the commercial break and use her as an example of how completely fucked up your comprehension level is. Oh.
It's just such a sad situation.
Correct. It is a sad situation. Such a sad situation. That you're in charge of anything.
Yeah, we're getting there. We will get there. It's going to happen. But it's been a very difficult. Nobody's seen anything like this probably since 1917.
What did you learn?
1918. 1918. George, you know it's 1918. Just say 1918. Get it over with.
I learned that life is very fragile. I knew people.
What have you learned?
That were powerful people, strong people, good people. And they got knocked out by this and died. 6 people. It was 5 until about 2 weeks ago. Now it's 6. But I've learned that life is very fragile because these were strong people and all of a sudden they were dead. They were gone. And it wasn't their fault. It was the fault of a country that could have stopped it. And I made a great trade deal with China.
Is he saying his country could have? Marcy, I'm so sorry.
I've learned that life is very fragile because these were strong people and all of a sudden they were dead. They were gone. And it wasn't their fault. It was the fault of a country that could have stopped it. And I made a great trade deal with China.
Yes, you. Had you tested and contained and traced back in February, like South Korea, that by March 12th had done 200,000 tests and we hadn't even done 5,000 yet. Yeah, could have been stopped. So I know which country to which he's referring.
China. Any of it was your fault. I feel so differently about that deal now. It's a great deal. It was good for the farmers, good for the manufacturers, but I don't view it the same way. It was good for us, but I don't view it the same way because of the horror of this disease that really could have been stopped at the border.
Could you have done more to stop it?
I don't think so. I think what I did by closing up the country, I think I saved 2, maybe 2.5, maybe more than that lives.
Could have tested. Could have had the CDC not make manufacturing errors and screw up the test in the first place. Could have just asked the WHO for the test. They'll give it to you. It's incorrect to say that we refused the test from the WHO because that's not the way it is. The WHO doesn't offer the test. To say, hey, would you like the test? Oh, no, thank you. We would not like the test. That's not the way it works. You just ask the WHO for their test, and they'll give it to you. Probably China would have given us a test had we asked. He blames the WHO for not getting people into China. We also tried to get the CDC people into China, and China wouldn't allow that. But he never mentions that. He mentions it's always the WHO. So anyway, we pulled out of the WHO and we pulled out of the vaccine conglomerate. Is that the right word for it? I don't even care. I don't even care. I'm just so torn up that poor immigrant's mother died from COVID. That's my takeaway.
I really don't think.
Oh, Caputo's gone? Good. Good news, Marcy. Thank you. Yay.
So I think we did a very good job.
Oh, here we go. Okay, we did a very good job. Let's go over here and let's go live. Boom.
But take a look at these rainfall totals.
No, thank you.
Now you will have players in Maryland, New Jersey.
Okay, Football.
Ask my guest to stand by, Matt Whitaker. White House press briefing with the press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany, has begun. Let's watch together.
More than anything, to play football. The president was happy to get this thing going, and now you will have players in Maryland, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Ohio, Iowa, Indiana, Illinois, Minnesota, Mississippi, and Nebraska, who will now have access to football, which is very good to see. Transitioning to a much more somber topic, and one that is very important to the president, I want to talk a little bit about our police officers. 14 months ago, 2 deputies with the Los Angeles Police Department were sworn in to protect and serve their community. This past Saturday, these 2 deputies were ambushed. While sitting in their patrol car in Compton, California, a suspect approached the passenger side window, took aim, and fired multiple shots at point-blank range into the patrol car. "I've been shot, send help," begged one of the deputies over 911. This was a cowardly, brazen, and unprovoked attack against law enforcement. One of the deputies attacked was a 31-year-old mother of a 6-year-old boy. She was seen on security footage attending to the wounds of her partner, despite being shot in the jaw and arm herself. She is a true hero. Rushed to the hospital, these 2 deputies were targeted yet again. The LA County Sheriffs tweeted this: "To the protesters blocking the entrance and exit of the hospital emergency room, yelling 'We hope they die,' referring to 2 LA sheriffs ambushed today in Compton. They said this: 'Do not block emergency entries and exits to the hospital. People's lives are at stake.'" Truly despicable behavior from those protesters. People's lives are indeed at stake. And it is truly, quote, "a double miracle," as the Los Angeles Sheriff Alex Villanueva described it, that these 2 deputies are alive today. Targeting a police officer is an assault against your community. It is an assault against law and order. It is antithetical to what we value as Americans. We all remember the disastrous impact of the Ferguson effect. We do not want to see a repeat today. Defund the police is not just dangerous policy, it is a poisonous ideology. We must respect our police, not revolt against them. In the past 24 hours alone, we've seen law enforcement targeted across the country. This is in 24 hours. In Phoenix, a U.S. Marshal was ambushed and shot outside a federal courthouse in a drive-by shooting. In
Republican governor.
Linwood, California, a suspect approached a patrol car and fired a handgun into the passenger side window. In Suffolk, Virginia, a suspect opened fire on a marked police car, hitting the vehicle 3 times. This is within 24 hours. These acts are despicable. Rhetoric such as defund the police is likely to have negative consequences for law enforcement across the country, threatening the safety of our communities. As Los Angeles Sheriff Villanueva warned, the ambush in Compton is a, quote, "sober reminder. It's a dangerous job. Actions, words have consequences," he said. Our job does not get any easier because people do not like law enforcement. It pisses me off," he said. "It dismays me at the same time. There's no pretty way to say it." The president wants law and order, which is the best way to ensure peace on our streets. And he wants our police to be respected and protected. And with that, I'll take questions. Yes.
Kayleigh, thank you so much. I have 2 questions, if you don't mind. The first one is about...
This is Biden's America, folks. This is Biden's America.
Masks. This morning, CDC Director Robert Redfield testified that masks are more guaranteed to protect people from COVID than a vaccine. Messages about something that doctors say can save lives.
The president has always supported mask wearing, and he's made many comments to that effect from this podium. Yesterday, he was appointing.
He has mocked mask wearing and from the podium said that he wouldn't wear one because, you know, dictators come to the Oval Office. So he just didn't feel comfortable wearing them.
To a quote that even Dr. Fauci has noted, which is that masks can have unintended consequences. While we support wearing them, and it's patriotic to do so, the unintended consequences can be inappropriate usage, touching the mask, and then going on and touching something else.
So here's the way to address that. Please wear your mask, and please do not touch the mask and then touch other things. From time to time, you're going to have to. Make sure to wash your hands. It's not that complicated.
The president very vividly described that unintended consequence that can come if not worn appropriately.
And secondly, on September, herd immunity, so-called theory, was something made up by the fanciful minds of the media. That was never something that was ever considered here at the White House. But last night, the president said that the country would eventually achieve herd mentality. I believe he meant immunity, to explain how the virus would, quote, go away. So did the White House shift its position?
Oh no. Have we lost internets? Come on.
Never been a strategy here at the White House. The president last night was noting herd immunity is over a period of time a country, a society can reach herd immunity. It's a fact. It was not a strategy ever presented here at the White House. And in fact, he went on in that very same exchange to say with the vaccine, this will go away very quickly, noting our strategy is to get a vaccine, and we will do so at the fastest rate for a novel pathogen.
So he doesn't agree with Dr. Atlas's view that everyone should just catch it and then we'll move on.
That's not Dr. Atlas's view. Dr. Atlas, I'm with him every day. He's never proposed herd immunity as a strategy, nor has the president. John.
A couple of other questions on COVID, if I could. Have any members of White House staff recently tested positive for coronavirus?
I don't share people's personal medical information.
But we've heard in the past when that has been the case. Why the change?
I've seen the reporting out there, but again, I'm not here to give people's personal identities. In the past, when I've discussed a case, unfortunately, that individual's name was leaked to the media.
Okay. Secondly, something else that Dr. Redfield said was that while some people in high-risk categories.
So yes, members of the White House staff have had COVID virus or are currently, that's by denying it. By not denying it.
May receive a vaccine by the end of the year. It would likely not be until the end of the second quarter or the third quarter before vaccinations were widely available. Is the president okay with that timeline, or does he want to see a vaccine more widely available earlier than that?
We're still of the belief that we will have a vaccine by the end of the year. Operation Warp Speed has made it clear that their goal is to have more than 100 million doses. We're manufacturing in advance to make that a possibility.
Right. So indicated that, but it was the idea of the vaccine being more widely available, like a flu vaccine, not until possibly next summer or maybe even early fall.
We do believe that it will be widely available by the end of the year. It's why we've partnered with Sanofi, GSK, Pfizer, and now Johnson & Johnson with $1 billion contracts to manufacture 100 million doses. So we still feel that we're on the right timeline.
When you say widely available, do you mean to everyone or just people in high-risk groups?
I'm not going to engage in a hypothetical, but it's our goal to have at least
It's not a hypothetical. This is a plan. This is what you do. You plan things. It's not what the president does. He admitted it in Art of the Deal. He admitted it to Playboy magazine in 1991. It's much more improvisational than people even realize. I don't even think I'm paraphrasing. I think that's verbatim. That his style was much more improvisational than people even realize. I'll find that for you.
100 million in production by the end of the year. Yes.
I have two questions. You said that the president was talking about wearing a mask improperly last night, touching it, referring to what Dr. Fauci has said. But he said, quote, there are people that don't think masks are good. That's clearly not what the CDC director thinks, since he said today that masks are important, powerful public health tool we have. They could be even more protective against COVID than a vaccine. So have any medical experts told the president that masks aren't good, or is he only citing non-medical experts like he did last night?
He's referring to the fact that when used appropriately, they can have unintended consequences, much like what Dr. Fauci said. It's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is, and oftentimes there are unintended consequences. So the president agrees with Dr. Fauci that mask wearing is good. It's recommended. The president's continually recommended it from this podium, but he was just pointing out some of the unintended consequences if not used appropriately.
He didn't say that. He just said there are people that think masks aren't.
Do you have his whole exchange? Would you like to read it out?
I watched it last night. He said there are people that don't think masks are good. He didn't say improperly or anything like that.
He went on in the very... Unfortunately, a bunch of you are very keen on doing selective editing of the president's quotes and not referring to the second half. Directly under that statement, he talked about a waiter touching the mask, then touching a plate, and that being an unintended effect of wearing a mask. That is an example of a mask not being used appropriately.
Waiters don't think masks are good, but
he described. He described the exact scenario in which a mask could have an unintended consequence.
Come on. Come on,
Not
Internet.
used appropriately, and we can send you the clip. We'll put it up on Twitter for you.
I watched it. It's okay. I was just wanted to see if there's any medical experts who have said that.
And they have, and I just read Dr. Fauci's quote, so go ahead.
Yes, I've read Dr. Fauci's quote. On the healthcare plan, the chief of staff said today that there is going to be one unveiled before the election, one that the president has been promising for long before then. But today on Capitol Hill, the 3 top medical experts in this administration said they have no idea of any kind of plan that's being formulated. So who is it that is working on the health care plan that's going to be introduced before the election?
So here at the White House, we have a wide array of people working on it. There have been elements of it that have already come out, like the telemedicine plan, the drug importation EO, the most favored nations were elements of what is an overarching plan. There's more that will be forthcoming, and in aggregate, it's going to be a very comprehensive strategy, one where we're saving healthcare while Democrats are trying to take healthcare away, where we're making healthcare better and cheaper, guaranteeing protections for people with pre-existing conditions, stopping surprise medical billing, increasing transparency, defending the right to keep your doctor in your plan, fighting lobbyists and special interests, and making healthier and finding cures to diseases. And those are the principles that will animate multiple stakeholders here at the White House who work on policy. So our Domestic Policy Council and others are working on a health care plan.
Not the CDC director, not Bob Cadlack, not Admiral Jouar. None of them have any idea about the healthcare plan.
I'm not going to give you a readout of what our healthcare plan looks like and who's working on it. If you want to know.
But why not? We've said that it's already done. That's what he said last night. That's what Mark Meadows said this morning. Why not reveal some of the details? What's the harm? Isn't that part of the do no harm? Isn't that the hypocritical oath of you?
If you want to know, come work here at the White House.
Yes. So I just wanted to know who's working on it.
Yes.
Just if you want to know, come work here at the White House. Such a bitch.
Stakeholders here in the White House, and as I told you, our Domestic Policy Council and others in the White House are working on a healthcare plan, the president's vision for the next 5 years. Yes, and if you want more, come join us here. Yes.
That's not the point why I asked the question.
Yes.
I think you know that.
Okay, I've called on you 4 times, so Mario, go ahead.
Thanks, Kaylee. When should we expect the president to make a decision on TikTok? And to what degree is that decision delayed by just disagreement among his senior advisors?
Yeah, so you'll have a decision here in short order. I'm not going to get too far into it because I don't want to get ahead of the president, but obviously we care deeply about protecting the data and security of American citizens. Yes.
Thank you, Kaylee. 2 questions. One is about vaccines. Some people within the Trump administration indicate that there might be a vaccine within a few weeks. Right now, we're all being tested for COVID. Are you going to require vaccine that we be vaccinated to enter the White House complex?
I'm not going to get ahead of any hypothetical. Right now, we're hard at work at.
Again, this is a plan. It's not hypothetical. This is something you claim will happen. Have a plan. Just a thought.
Actually getting the vaccine, and then plans for distribution will be determined thereafter. There were some guidelines put out today to that effect about how they'll be distributed by HHS and DOD.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not hypothetical. You just said that there's a plan that's been put out, so let us know. Why not discuss it? Is it not in the binder? It's not in the binder.
Also, one thing is that Bob Woodward said that the president's response to COVID was, quote, a monumental, catastrophic leadership failure. That this is a tragedy for Trump and for the country.
Wait, who said this?
HHS and DOD.
Okay, and also, one thing is that Bob Woodward said that the president's response to COVID was, quote, a monumental, catastrophic leadership failure. That this is a tragedy for Trump and for the country. What is your response to that?
That it's absolutely preposterous and absurd. Look at the facts. Look at the data. Look at the fact that Europe, for instance, has experienced a 28% higher excess mortality rate than the United States. Look at the fact that we have
That is not true.
One of the lowest case fatalities in the world. Look at the fact that from scratch, we developed the largest and most advanced testing system.
By the way, the White House has been asked about this. Where are you getting these figures from? What is this excess mortality rate? Europe being 28% higher than us. Why was it 38% last week as it was 23% now? What are the figures? What is Europe in your mind? And the White House will not respond. So
in the entire world, testing more than every country in Europe put together and more than every nation in the Western Hemisphere combined. Look at the fact that we have 3 vaccines in phase 3 clinical trial. That is a historic response, mobilizing the private sector the fastest, or mobilizing the private sector to the greatest degree since World War II. This president has broken through barriers. He's a businessman. He's the commander-in-chief. He's the leader of the country, and he has done a phenomenal job, to quote none other than Governor Andrew Cuomo.
I was simply letting a colleague finish. Can I ask my question?
No, I'm not going to reward not speaking up and asking your question. Go ahead. Anyone else? Yes.
I'm gonna.
Go ahead.
Okay, thanks. The president said on Twitter today that Republicans should go.
She looks really tired.
For a much higher number when it comes to the stimulus. What did he mean by that exactly? And has he spoken to Senator McConnell or Speaker Pelosi about what number he has in mind?
Yeah, so what the president was referring to was the $500 billion bill that passed the Senate, the Phase 4 plan. That didn't include, it got 50 votes in the Senate. It's that $500 billion skinny proposal, but it didn't include direct payments. So he wants more than the $500 billion, and he is very keen to see these direct stimulus payments. And we hope that Nancy Pelosi will work with us in good faith. There are many bipartisan proposals out there that have merit. And a clear example of where Nancy stands is that everyone wants to be in D.C., seems to want to make a deal, except Nancy Pelosi. She wants to play politics. Look at the letter she wrote condemning the Problem Solvers Group proposal. That was a $1.5 trillion plan. That if the priorities were modified and made sure that there was not bailout that bailed out states that didn't have COVID-related issues, that just were blanket bailouts to blue states, that's something that
I've seen the bill. There's nothing in there that says blue states, red states, and differentiates. There's no listing of New Jersey gets money, and New York gets money, and New Hampshire gets a car, and you get a car, and you get... That's not in there.
We would entertain and look at, but Nancy Pelosi immediately decried that proposal in a letter because she's not interested in a deal. Yes.
Haley, could I just ask really briefly, following up on Mario's question, Trump has said that he wants to see TikTok's U.S. operations being sold to a U.S. company. And our reporting suggests that under proposals submitted to CFIUS, ByteDance would retain a majority stake in TikTok. So does the president still want TikTok to be sold to a U.S. company, or is he now okay with TikTok potentially remaining under Chinese ownership?
This is an ongoing negotiation, and I'm not going to offer any further comment beyond any of the president's public remarks. Yes.
I pulled up, I think, that quote that you were talking about. The president said last night, they come over, they serve you, he's talking about waiters, and they have a mask. I saw it the other day where they were serving me, they were playing with the mask. I'm not blaming them, I'm just saying it happens. And then he starts talking about Dr. Fauci. My question is, why is he quoting what Dr. Fauci's guidance from like 5 months ago instead of what the head of the CDC said in the Senate today on masks?
Well, both propositions he agrees with, and thank you very much for reading the second part of the quote. First, he agrees with the consensus that mask wearing is important and recommended. I have here, and I'll make sure you all get a copy all of the times he said that from this podium, and I can read them, but it would probably bore you. He's called it patriotic to wear a mask, but he also recognizes that masks need to be worn appropriately, which is the point Dr. Fauci was making. He was making that point in March, but it was an important point to make, that we should all wear our mask appropriately.
And then it's totally unrelated, but Roger Stone said on a radio show the other day, he said U.S. Marshals should seize the ballots in Nevada on Election Day because he's called them corrupted. Is that something the president is comfortable with, using federal power to seize ballots during the count?
I have not spoken to him about that, nor do I think he's ever seen those comments.
Yes, if you'll allow.
How does she know? She's never spoken to him about it. How does she know? But thanks for your input, though.
I have a question from a colleague because I'm the cooler today, and then I'd like to ask my own. From a colleague, in lifting tariffs on Canadian aluminum, the USTR announced yesterday it would review shipment levels 6 weeks after the end of September, a timeline that extends beyond the election. Was the president worried that those tariffs and the anticipated retaliatory action from Canada would endanger his re-election chances.
Yes.
I've not spoken to the president about Canadian tariffs. I haven't followed up on that matter. What was your other question?
Second one is,
Yeah, why would the spokesman for the White House talk to the president about the leading trading partner? Why? Why would that happen?
does the president have any evidence to back up his suggestions that Joe Biden is a pedophile or taking drugs? And without such evidence, if he's simply speculating, why should the public trust him on anything else?
I'd have to refer you to the campaign. I'm not here to talk about Joe Biden. Yes.
Thank you, Kaylee. With Hurricane Sally making landfall in Alabama.
Okay, so that needs to be captured. Hold on. I'm gonna move this aside here, guys. Give me a second, just because I gotta capture that, because that's gonna be played a ton of times before Election Day. Let me do this. Hold on. Almost there. Here she comes. And, ladies and gentlemen, Kaylee McEnany. There she is. Let's go back a little bit, shall we, Kaylee? Just a smidge. Okay, there's you listening, looking tired. And recording has started. And in 3, 2, 1, I want you to say that you're not here to talk about Joe Biden.
And without such evidence, if he's simply speculating, why should the public trust him on anything else?
I'd have to refer you to the campaign. I'm not here to talk about Joe Biden.
Yes. Thank you, Kaylee. With Hurricane Sally making landfall in Alabama and hitting the Florida Panhandle, a couple of questions here related to that. Has the president spoken directly to Florida Governor Ron DeSantis or any of the other governors affected by this storm? And at the same time, has the federal government made any changes to its programs since her...
Just her body language here. She's just exhausted. I wonder if she's got much longer to be around. I'm not saying that we're going to lose her in the next couple of weeks, but just watching her today. And she could have been up all night. And she's got a baby. And, I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. I almost feel badly for her. I don't. But I feel badly to the point where I've been a parent. I know what it's like, and it's got to be stressful right now. And there's probably something happening behind the scenes that we don't even know about that she's prepping for. That's going to be an absolute bombshell because it's a day. And then I realize, oh wait, no, it's her, and she's the one. Well, she's the one who said.
Absolutely. This president will always put America first. He will always protect American citizens. We will not see diseases like the coronavirus come here.
That's her. That's the one. She's the one who said that. So, and then I don't feel sorry for her anymore because I realize, no, I can't. I just can't. Hold on. I got to put that down below. There we go. Let me turn her off. I have no problem turning her off. Honestly, I have no problem turning any lady off.
Hurricane Michael or the way it communicates with the state of Florida?
Yeah, I haven't asked the president about who he's called specifically. I know the White House. I've spoken with IGA. I know the White House has certainly been in contact, and the chief of staff. But in terms of the hurricane, this president is engaging in an important response. FEMA is active. We have high water rescue teams, IMAT teams, disaster medical assistance, generators, 1.8 million meals, 1.5 million bottles of water, and as FEMA Administrator Gaynor
5 million bottles of water on the wall.
With the states right now, we have a significant footprint in Louisiana because of Hurricane Laura, so we are well postured. We're leaning into it to make sure that we meet all the needs of all 3 of those states.
Are you aware, though, of any changes since Hurricane Michael that are being applied to this specific response?
I've not looked at changes with hurricane response, but this president knows how to respond. And
I think there's a question here that needs to be asked, and I know you're all thinking it. The important thing, the takeaway already from this press conference is why hasn't producer Joanna criticized her dress yet? That's what I want to know.
We'll do so and protect the men and women of those 3 states.
I also have the transcript from last night. I just wanted to ask you about one other line and get clarification. The president did say there are a lot of people that think masks are not good. Who are the people he's referring to? The lot
waiters.
He was meaning that
he made it abundantly clear. Waiters.
There are people who think they're not good when not used appropriately, as I've mentioned several times in this briefing.
Yes.
Thank you, Kaylee. 2 questions.
Well, then why didn't he say that? Why didn't he say there's a lot of people that think that masks aren't good if you don't use them appropriately? Why didn't he say that? Why is the man incapable of communicating? And if he's not, why is he still president?
If I may, one is, I suppose, has to be a hypothetical, but if someone who was at the ceremony the other day for the signing of the accords tested positive for coronavirus subsequently, would everyone who was present at the signing of the accords be notified through contact tracing?
We do contact tracing, so close contacts are always notified.
And secondly, on the stimulus questions, where are you on additional assistance for airlines and maybe more of the pandemic unemployment insurance, since both of those things are urgent priorities and it doesn't look like Congress is going to act? What's the president prepared to do on both of those issues?
The president...
No, we have David's interview. David, are you in here? We probably won't get to that today. I don't know. I have a lot of stuff to do today, and if we can get through it, we can get to that. But as always, David is our lowest priority.
Has mentioned previously that he wanted to take a good look at airlines and help where he can. Of course, we need Congress in a lot of this. He's always made clear that his big priority, number one, is unemployed Americans and Americans who have been hurt by this pandemic. His EO really clarified his priorities, the 4 EOs on eviction and the payroll tax, which helps low and middle income Americans primarily, and unemployment insurance and student loan debt relief. That's his priority, unlike Nancy Pelosi, who took a vacation and went to a hair salon when the men and women of San Francisco did not have the access that she did.
I'm sorry, but the president literally gets his hair colored like every 3 days. So
on payroll taxes, actually, since you mentioned payroll taxes, is the president disappointed with the large number of employers who are not taking up him and the Treasury Secretary on the payroll tax deferral?
The president believes that companies should take him up on that. He has always said that he is interested in giving a payroll tax forgiveness for those who do participate, because it's very important that those making less than $100,000 have this relief at this time. Raquel.
Hi, Katie. Thank you. 2 questions, if I may.
Here's the relief. We've covered this before, but in case you're new, here's what the payroll tax deferral, not a cut, what the payroll tax deferral is. You get about 6% of your paycheck that's supposed to pay for Social Security, some other things, that FICA, that stuff that comes out of there. Hey, employers, go ahead and just give that to the employees right now. Here's the problem. Come January 1st, you got to give it all back. So employers are looking at it going like, am I responsible for that? Because that hasn't been questioned. That hasn't been answered. So the employers are like, well, if I give it to the employees and the employee's just seasonal, or the employee quits, or God forbid the employee gets COVID and dies, do I have to pay that money back? Because that money comes through the employer. So yeah, of course a lot of employers are like, fuck no. And they've explained to their employees, I'm sure, look, I could give you this money. They're going to ask for it back in 3 months. So it's basically a no-interest loan that you got to pay back. I mean, I suppose you could put it to the stock market right now and pray. But it's ridiculous. And of course, Trump has said, if you vote me in, I will make it permanent. In other words, I'll forgive that deferral. It'll become a cut. So vote for me and you get $1,000, which is bribery. And I don't know why nobody else sees it that way. Am I wrong, by the way? I mean, there's of course, there's always promises. We're going to build the wall. We're going to give you great health care. We're going to, all of these things that benefit people. If you vote for me, you get a benefit. This is an actual liquid monetary benefit being promised by a president in order to win election. Is that if I went out on the street and said, hey, I'm running in December, I'd like you to vote for me. If you vote for me, I'll give you $5. That's illegal. How is this not illegal? How is this not a thing? I don't know. Does anybody else see it that way? I do.
One, is the White House aware of the allegations of healthcare abuse in ICE detention?
So she has someone's voice, and I don't know the actress's name, but I love her. I just love this voice. The accent, the voice, everything. It's perfect.
Centers.
Yeah, I have not followed up on that. I'd have to refer you to DHS. I did see that report just before coming out here, but I'd refer you to DHS.
Okay, another question. A new survey showed that the image of the U.S. in the world is the worst in 20 years, and President Trump is less trusted than Putin or Xi Jinping after COVID response. So why do you think many countries...
Yeah, so there was a survey that came out from Pew that showed how much leaders are trusted around the world by the world's population, and President Trump is worse than Putin and worse than Xi when it comes to COVID response. Less respected than Putin and Xi. That's where we are.
Don't trust President Trump right now.
Look, this president has led the greatest response to COVID. I've already walked through how well...
The greatest response what? In U.S. history? That is correct. Also the worst.
We're doing vis-a-vis the rest of the world. Also worth noting, U.S., we had this...
No, we haven't. There's not a single metric by which the U.S. has had the greatest response vis-a-vis the world. You can't just say vis-a-vis and follow it with anything and make it true.
Smallest...
Penelope Cruz, thank you. Good job, chat room.
Economic contraction of any major Western country in the first half of the year. Also want to note that in 2019, real median household income grew by more. This is last year alone. Real median household income grew by more than all 8 years of Obama-Biden. And in 2019, so last...
That is not an accurate statistic. That is... I want to say Peter Solomon, but that's not his name. Trump financial advisor, whose name escapes me at the moment, but it's been completely debunked. But what I'm saying is, if you've made $10,000 a year extra because of President Trump, vote for President Trump. I have no problem with that. I have not worked since the virus hit. Not worked.
Last year,
not a single job offer. I've auditioned. I've had auditions, a few. 4 on camera, maybe 15 voiceover auditions in 9 months. That's well below my average.
Real median household income for African Americans.
No, it's not Navarro. It's not the trade. Navarro's a senior trade advisor, but his I'll think of his name at 2 a.m. and then I'll wake you all up.
Rose 8%, and that is more than double the gains of Obama-Biden in 8 years. So this president has led economically, he's led on COVID, and when you look at what he did just yesterday with these landmark...
Yeah, but you can lead people off a cliff. Just good leadership, that's what we want. And yesterday, the president, and I don't know why nobody has asked this question, he said that deceiving your people is great leadership. That's if you're dishonest with your people, that's great leadership. That's what he said about Churchill. And nobody's mentioned that.
Peace agreements that haven't been done in a quarter of a century, but President Trump made it happen. He is a great diplomat, a great peacemaker, and I think him being nominated for 2 Nobel Prizes says it all.
Can I ask a question on
Nobel, by the way, the Nobel Prize Committee does not release the names of nominees for 50 years. So we don't know for sure that he's been nominated for 2 different awards.
Just can I ask you on the great success story you've talked about COVID. In the richest country in the world,
yes,
you have 4% of the global population and 24% of the coronavirus deaths. How is that a success story?
Yeah, when you look at, again, we have Europe has 28% higher excess mortality rate.
No. Good, go for it. Lay into her.
The global numbers that I'm giving you, which is 4% of the population, 24% of the deaths from COVID. Isn't that how can that be a success?
And I'm giving you the numbers that we believe are very indicative of where we stand vis-a-vis the rest of the world. Excess mortality is an indicator that takes into account the percent deaths above what would occur without a pandemic. It counts the excess mortality, and what we see is that we are 28% under Europe. You have to look at this holistically. You have to look at total and aggregate how many deaths have occurred in this
4% and 24% is holistic.
Country and compare that to Europe in the excess mortality rate and case fatality and testing. We have exceeded in our response, and this president is very proud of the great work that this administration has done.
Yeah, but 4% and 24%. I don't know how you can't look at that and say, well, that's more. Well, you have 4% of the population. You've done the best job on the planet. What's your death? Oh, we've got 2.5% of the deaths. That makes sense. What a great job that you've done. What percentage of the population do you have? 4? It's actually 4.25. Let's just say 5%. You've got 5% of the population. What percent death do you have? 10%? Oh, that's bad. That's twice as many deaths as you should have. Whew. I would seriously consider that's pitiful. Sorry, you said 24%? 24%? Can I give you some sort of Nobel Prize?
Yeah. Is Michael Caputo welcome back after his 60-day leave after urging his followers on Facebook to stock up on ammunition?
I'm not going to weigh into any personnel matters. As you know, he has taken a leave of absence that was announced just before.
And you guys are saying that he's been fired now. Okay.
Before I came out here. But what I will weigh into is...
We are a little bit behind time here. Yeah, we are about 14 minutes behind.
The Middle East peace deal signed yesterday that I did not receive a single question about. That was the first time it's happened in a quarter of a century.
Well, you would have received a ton of questions on it if Trump hadn't gone on a town hall yesterday and said that great leaders lied to their country. And no one's even asked about that. That's one question that would have dominated this entire conference above and beyond the peace accords that we don't know if they're going to be effective or not. And the bottom line is the United States is not really affected by it because it's on the other side of the planet. But that's fine. That's fine. Yes, tertiarily, but great. So here's what I'm saying about the president. Have him shut the hell up. If you're going to take credit, it's be like, hey, guess what? We just won our championship hockey game. Wow, that's great. Hold on, I see a dog. Let's talk about that hockey game. Why did you just shoot that puppy? Look, why won't you people talk about my goal? Idiocy.
If Obama and Biden had achieved this, they would look a lot different. You wouldn't have Chuck Todd saying he's uncomfortable with the deal that brings peace between the United Arab Emirates and Israel and Bahrain. You wouldn't have CBS calling it, quote, a business deal. And you wouldn't have Nancy Pelosi.
It is a business deal.
Calling it a distraction. Maybe it's a distraction from her visits to the hair salon, but those were significant agreements. First time in a court.
No, maybe it's not. There's no maybe to it. It's not a distraction for her visit to the hair salon because there'd be no motivation for the Trump administration to try and distract from that, since just this morning, Trump was retweeting the man on the Mad Money, Jim Cramer, calling her a crazy Nancy, and then apologizing for it. And Trump insisted that it's not an apology. You shouldn't apologize because it's true. So no, maybe is not the word for it's a distraction.
Quarter of a century, 3 peace deals in 29 days. Took 26 years for the prior 2 peace deals. So this, the Nobel Peace Prize nomination for the president, 2 of them, very well deserved. Thank you.
Kayleigh, if he's a law and order president, why does he keep breaking the law?
Wow, a very combative few minutes there.
That's got to be Brian. Is that Brian Karem? Does anybody know? Good job, Brian. We love you. We love you. What? Let's play it again. That's awesome. In fact, I'm going to record that. That deserves a record. Here we go. And Brian, you're on in 3, 2, 1, yell.
So this, the Nobel Peace Prize nomination for the president, 2 of them, very well deserved. Thank you.
Kayleigh, if he's a law and order president, why does he keep breaking the law?
Wow, a very combative few minutes there.
She hates this house today. She really hates this house. Kayleigh Macaroni is not having a good day. Did I mention that she's not having a good day? Once again, let's replay the end there where that question is screamed.
So this, the Nobel Peace Prize nomination for the president, 2 of them, very well deserved. Thank you.
Kayleigh, if he's a law and order president, why does he keep breaking the law?
Where are you going?
Wow, a very combative few minutes there.
I screwed that up.
Media asking repeated questions.
I was trying to silence
And
Harris.
really focusing on COVID-19. And that's where we'll take our focus now, too, because there were a couple things that were said there as Kayleigh McEnany was answering questions, some of them over and over and over again, the same question. We heard a lot about COVID-19, the vaccine development. So I want to bring in now Dr. Mehmet Oz, host of the Dr. Oz.
Oh, good, Dr. Oz. That'll answer all the questions we have. Let's go back. We're done with this for now. Let's, how do I do it? Let's see.
Show and
keep you guys around. You be quiet, and let's wrap this up. I think we're on the last question here.
I don't know if that's been recognized. We've made a lot of governors feel good. We've made some reputationally. We've enhanced their reputation. They didn't have anything. We got them the supplies. We got them the ventilators. We've made a lot of people look good that shouldn't look good, to be honest with you.
We're out of time, Mr. President. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thanks to all the questioners here. Thanks to all of you at home for watching. Have a good night.
Oh, okay. You have a good night, too. Wow. That was anticlimactic. Dr. Oz, by the way, when you compare him per capita to amorphous forms of Europe, he has done a fantastic job. Let's just listen to Dr. Oz.
Dr. Oz, you and I have been talking about this for months because I know you traveled to France and you were looking at therapeutics and vaccines. So you've been looking at this issue for a long time. Thank you for being with me and coming out of the news conference here.
And thank you for standing behind the French studies of hydroxychloroquine, Dr. Oz. Go on.
My first question.
Yeah.
When you hear that perhaps not until the second or third quarter of 2021 would we have a viable vaccine, which was part of that conversation there in the briefing, what does that mean?
Well, most expectations from the many experts I've had on my show were just that. It would take us till the middle of next year, 2021, to have a viable vaccine. But I don't think anyone's witnessed what the U.S. Scientists and European scientists, as well as Chinese scientists, have been able to accomplish, which is dramatic.
Did Dr. Oz just get an accent? I don't remember him having an accent before. Is it just, have I just been completely whitewashing this in my brain?
Faster generation of ideas that could become suitable vaccines. We will enroll the last of the 30,000 patients in the first big U.S. trial this week. Now, you have to wait a month or two in order to make sure that it's safe. You don't have any side effects that
more months than that, but go on.
Arise a few weeks later, and also to make sure that it's effective. But I do believe,
I think it's a 3 month. Isn't it 90 days, 30,000 people, 90 days? Isn't that the standard?
And most people have been on the show, and I had the White House task force on this week, also echo the fact that by November, we should know if this first two vaccine.
David LeBeau, who taught me civics, I wanted to scream at the television, not just lies, but arrogant lies. Each day, in every way, I hate him more and more. He must be defeated. We must... David LeBeau, also a little bit of a musical theater buff, and I think he's lyrically right on there. Ruth Ann Cordell. Yes, Larry, I was also the one. It was also the one where the African-American woman told Trump to stop interrupting. Yeah, but what I liked most about that interview, and Larry, you can watch, we spent about 3 hours covering 40 minutes of that interview last night, is that the empathy, that the president really feels us. And it is amazing to me. It touches me. It touches my heart when the president can reach out to a member of the public, one of his U.S. citizens, and really feel for her mother dying of COVID when her mother didn't even have COVID. That's how above and beyond. Joe Biden's, I lost my daughter, I lost my son, I lost my wife, right? But this president, he has sympathy for diseases you don't even have. That is some next level shit. And that is what you can expect from real Donald Trump. Real Donald Trump. Keyword being real. Hashtag Mega 2020. Again, I think that's the takeaway we should leave with here for the morning session. Plus, my internet keeps coming and going here. So, again, I apologize for that. And Kevin Lee Daughter says, fuck you all. So, let's see. Anything else going on here? Yeah, no, his whole empathy, the leaning forward with the diamond hand and the This is 'cause usually when people tell me bad things, I'm on the toilet, and that's what he's trying to come at there. It may be from reading Twitter on the toilet so much that's when he gets the bad news in the morning. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to go back and look at Dr. Oz's accent. All I know is that one time my mother was watching Dr. Oz, and Dr. Oz says something about this vitamin or something that would do good things about something. And so I ordered some. Because, he's a doctor. He's got his own show and everything. And my mom said, Kevin, could you get... And I was like, yeah, I'll get it off the Amazons or whatever. And then it came out that, he was paid to say it and there was no actual proof. It wasn't, in fact, it wasn't even approved as a supplement. So I ordered the oleandra, and Kevin Lee Mother is no longer with us. No idea why. Say it twice and move hands. If you say something twice, people will believe you. Just say it twice, and people will believe you. That's the way it works. Okay, that's it for now, guys. I have a couple of auditions to get to, and probably there'll be stuff coming up later in the day. Before we go, let's check out the Caspan and see what it is coming later in the day. We can do that right here. Let's see. Shall we? You know what we're going to do? We're going to have a little fun. We're going to go over to the CNN and see what their reaction to it was. We might be able to jump back.
Things profoundly in our community.
That's interesting camera work. Let's see if I can go back one show. It is not letting me, so we're not going to do that. Let's go to Caspan. Okay, and Dr. Redfield's going on right now. Let's see, testify. Oh, that was earlier. Okay, Joe Biden is remarking at 2:30 Eastern. Remarks on vaccine development. He does not have access to the information that the White House has, so he's kind of handicapped in that regard. What else is coming up? We heard about Mark Meadows. That's it. So interesting. Okay, so the title of the briefing, what C-SPAN has already called it, is it's a White House briefing. The featured clips, but the way that C-SPAN, which is nonpartisan, framed it as White House differs with CDC director on coronavirus vaccine availability. That's from C-SPAN, the nonpartisan. Go ahead and say whatever you want to say. Blinker says Redfield says vaccine won't be available until late 2021. Right. So there's a difference between a vaccine existing and then a vaccine being approved and then a vaccine being available for wide use. And what we've done is we are already mass producing 4 of the vaccines, which is good. Pfizer is mass producing their own on the chance that it gets approved and that it is safe. So those... Ruth Ann, you just ruined it for me. Don't say good luck. You said God luck. So, okay, yeah. Thank you, Stephanie. Stephanie said break a leg. That's what you're supposed to say, Ruth Ann. But God luck, I think, is also probably acceptable. But don't say good luck to an actor. The vaccines have been mass-produced, but what we do know for sure, as a fact, is that the vaccines being produced by the U.S. government, because it is Trump's government, will not work. That it will be a huge fiasco getting out there. How do we know that? Because we still don't have N95 masks for all the U.S. citizens. How do we know that? Because we still don't have tests for the U.S. citizens. How do you know? Because we still don't have enough swabs. That's how we know. It's Trump. Trump is touching it, and everything Trump touches dies. According to Rick Wilson, whose book I have not read, but I think you should, and then tell me all about it. Speaking of books, I'm booking.
Kevin, is this helpful to Joe Biden?